This is your Royal Rumble retro review. This is a Team Heel podcast extra. Thank you all for tuning in, listening to this special edition of the Team Heel podcast extra. We said this last week, leading up to the 2019 Royal Rumble. We'll be recapping once a week a retro Royal Rumble event. As you remember, last week we went back to 1992, which a lot of people considered the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. So this week, we decided to go from 1992 to the year 2000. That's right, this week we are reviewing the 2000 WWE Royal Rumble. Every man for themselves. The road to WrestleMania begins. That was their tagline. This event took place in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, on January 23rd, 2000. And I gotta keep it 100 with you guys. This show, watching this show, brought me back to my childhood. It brought back so many nostalgia moments. And again, I enjoyed watching this edition of the Royal Rumble. But as always, I am not alone. I am not alone here. I am joined here by two awesome mother flowers. I'm first here joined by the Queen Slayer. That's KWEEN Slayer. Mr. I just fucked your girl. Mr. Your girlfriend just made me a pork sandwich and I ate it and I loved it. Mr. Your girlfriend left her panties in my room. The one, the only Walter. How you been, brother?
I've been pretty good. Weekend's coming up. Love the intro, man.
Of course you did, bro. Of course you did. And we're joined here by the man with the golden charm, all the way in Detroit. Big Mike from Big Mike Wrestling Recap Show. Big Mike, how you been, brother?
I've been all right, Steven, man. Can't wait to get to talking about this Rumble.
Exactly.
Let's get to it.
Exactly. So, yeah, 2000. Last week we talked about 1992 Rumble. If you have not checked that one out, it's up in the archives. It's also up on all our podcasting platforms like iTunes, Stitcher, PODBEAN, Spotify, also over at iHeart Radio. Go give that a listen whenever you get a chance. But this week, again, it's all about 2000. And I gotta say overall, listen, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I enjoyed watching the show. I thought the undercard of the show was amazing, if you will. It was literally part of the Attitude Era. If you watch the show, it literally showed you a hardcore New York crowd at its finest. Everyone was into the show, in the crowd, that is, right? But I'm gonna just say this, though. I know people said, 92 Rumble was the best Rumble match of all time with a crappy undercard. I'm gonna say this show, in my opinion, of course, did the reverse. Would y'all agree with that? Or am I the only one that's kind of crazy for saying that right now?
Technically, it did the reverse because the Rumble, the card itself, the 92 Rumble card itself was a little and like the match was pretty damn good. The best, if not one of the best Rumbles of all time the Rumble matches. But the Rumble card for this one, the 2000 Royal Rumble card, was easily one of the best Rumble cards of all time. And the match itself was just okay. It wasn't bad, but I just thought it wasn't one of the best Rumble matches of all time. But the card itself was definitely, one of the best.
What about you, Big Mike? Chat me up here, brother. What was your take overall? What was your overall, thoughts on the 2000 Rumble? Do you feel like, I'm crazy for saying that, or are you also in the same boat?
No, I feel that I agree with you. I feel that it was the reverse. I enjoyed some of the matches on the undercard, especially the WWF Championship match. And the Rumble match was just decent. It wasn't, outside of The Rock, it was decent.
Fair enough, exactly. To me, overall, I thought the undercard to the show was great. You had a good WWE Championship match between Triple H and Cactus Jack. You had a good tag team table match. And you had also a biggest pop for a debut in Taz. So we're going to get into all that on this show. So guys, again, give us your thoughts, your memory of the 2000 Rumble. How old were you? Where were you at? Or if not, were you actually at the Garden? Because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I think what also made this show even more enjoyable for me, as someone that lives in the local tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, the fact that this show was at the Garden. And I think something about having a wrestling event at Madison Square Garden, it makes it more of a big deal. Right? I remember going to my first house show in 1996 at Madison Square Garden. And how much, granted, I was a kid, so I really don't remember much about that show, other than it was Shawn Michaels and, I think it was Shawn Michaels and Mankind. And it was Bret Hart versus, I want to say Vader or The Undertaker, one or the other. Okay? It was such a long time ago. And my dad took me to that event, and how crazy it was. And then I remember years later, my dad took me to the 2002 Survivor Series, the first Elimination Chamber match. It was at the Garden. Again, just all that, it brought me back. And again, just being at that venue, watching a wrestling show in that venue, it just, again, words just can't describe the feeling. And if you are someone out there who's listening to this right now, and maybe you've gone to Madison Square Garden for a wrestling event, whether it's a pay-per-view, a house show, maybe an episode of Monday Night Raw, give us your thought. Give us your memory if you can. Or if not, let us know on Twitter at Team Heel Podcast. And we'll give it a look-see what you guys had to say about that. But the show overall, like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was. The attendance for this show was 19,231. Believe it or not, the actual... Where is that here? The actual gate for the show, the pay-per-view, I want to say gate. I had it here. 1 second here. I had it here in my little notes here that I took for this, by the way. How to fucking Microsoft Word can be a pain in the you-know-what sometimes. It really can, okay? It happens. Microsoft Word at times can be a pain in the butt. Anyone that has it can vouch for me on that. Let's keep it 100 here, okay?
Microsoft Word.
Yeah. Okay. Believe it or not, it was the first MSG show, WWE show at MSG to break $1 million at the gate. That's right.
Well, yeah, they had 19,000 people.
According to
a lot of people there.
This did more than $1.14 million at the gate, which at the time was good for the 6th largest gate for any wrestling event in the U.S. Making matters more impressive is that Madison Square Garden doesn't have the seating capacity of an outdoor stadium. The 1.14 million in attendance broke the previous Garden record of 960,000 seats at WrestleMania. It was set at WrestleMania 10 in '94. Even then, that 1.14 million number was peanuts compared to the $2.4 million WWE did at WrestleMania 20. So this was huge. Keep this in mind too. In 2000, WWE already won the war. Well, they already won the war, but they were just blowing WCW out of the water at this time of the Monday Night War. Okay? Keep that in mind too. Keep this in mind too. In 2000, you didn't even have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
You didn't have that. You didn't have The Undertaker as well. So you really had The Rock. You had Triple H. Literally, even I guess Cactus Jack, like carrying the show. Keep that in mind.
Don't forget about Kane.
I know Kane, but still, talk about the big star, like the main eventers, if you will. That's what I'm talking about here. Okay, keep that in mind. Just food for thought. Okay, so the show again, there were 3 major storylines going into this event. Obviously, you had Triple H and Mick Foley with the whole McMahon Helmsley faction that began in '99, where Triple H and Stephanie McMahon had control over the WWF at the time, and scheduling unreasonable matches for the wrestlers. Foley, who objected to all of this as well, and he got fired. We'll get into more about that as well. We also had the storyline between The Rock and the Big Show involving the Rumble match, and we also had the going feud between Chris Jericho, Chyna, and Hardcore Holly for the Intercontinental Championship. All this and more, okay, guys? So this show overall, when you look back on this show, the 6 matches, and like we said before, it was better than '92's as far as the undercard is concerned. But the Rumble for this event, I felt it was kind of flat. Okay, we kind of discussed that already. Now, if you guys feel different about that, let us know as well. Again, no one's wrong. It's just not his opinion. But before we get into all this as well, we'll let you guys know that if you have not checked out already, this past Tuesday, myself and Chase Oliver, we did talk about All Elite Wrestling. It's up in the archive, also as well on the podcasting platforms. You can download as well. We gave our thoughts on the whole All Elite Wrestling pep rally that took place in Jacksonville, Florida. This past Sunday, I gave my Impact Wrestling Homecoming pay-per-view review. It's up here on the YouTube channel. And this week, again, we're talking about the 2000 Royal Rumble. We'll be back tomorrow for the live edition of the TEAMHEEL podcast. And next week, for the Rumble Retro Review, we're going to go back in time to 1994 with the 1994 Royal Rumble. So make sure to get you tuned in for that next week as well. Okay? I think we're going to do for like the last week is give a viewer's choice, if you will. But we'll give more details on that as well. So 2000, the first match on the show, by the way, you had Kurt Angle coming out there, and apparently his opponent was to be determined. He didn't know who his opponent was. At this time, Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist, he had a full set of hair, and he was undefeated. Undefeated, right? The 3 eyes, intensity, integrity, intelligence. I know I said them all in the wrong order, but all that was going for him, right? He was getting booed every single time. He was getting fucking booed, right? And he comes out, and who is his opponent, guys? Big Mike, take it away.
Taz.
Not just any Taz, but former ECW champion Taz. And I think, again, what was crazy about this, right? I don't know if you guys caught this or not in watching the show, but people kind of knew who it was going to be Taz coming in.
Oh, yeah.
People were just chanting
Dirt
Taz.
sheets, man. Dirt sheets.
People were chanting Taz, Taz, Taz. And the moment his music hit, that whole building was going to like fucking erupt. Like the roof was about to jump, like literally, like the roof was about to explode. Put it that way.
Yeah, I even like the build up towards Taz, you know, during the Monday Night Raws and the SmackDowns. Randomly, like the heartbeat with the orange lights will flicker before a match or before a segment, and people will be wondering what the heck is going on. And leading up to this, dang near 20,000 people knew he was going to be there. People was chanting ECW. And from here on out, it would only go downhill after this match, which is sad.
Yeah, indeed it was. And it's one of the things what I liked about it too, is that, again, you bring in Taz, right, with this momentum, and he made it feel like a fight. Just suplexing Kurt Angle around the ring. And Kurt Angle like a pro, okay? Don't get me wrong, Angle had moments too in the match, but this was all Taz. As it should have been. You want to debut somebody, in this case being Taz, what better way than in New York, at Madison Square Garden, at the Royal Rumble, one of their big fours, in his home state of New York City. What better way to ask? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was the best way to, I think, open the show, because, you know, Taz is from obviously New York, and they loved him. The ECW chants. It's like memories, you know, even though ECW is still hanging. It's like, come on, he knew they were going to die and all that. But it was nice to see that. I thought that was a good way to start the show. And, you know, Angle, he was kind of like in that comedic role almost still. So it was fine. And, you know, he says he was still undefeated after that. So it was all well.
Which is funny, too, because he gets choked out.
Yeah. So he didn't technically lose, according to him, because he got choked out.
So he got choked the fuck out, right? And the match ends, and they bring out the EMTs. Because they literally want you to think, oh my God, this guy's been choked the fuck out. Kurt Angle, the most respected Olympic gold medalist. Oh my God, how dare they do this to him? And people are cheering this shit. They're just cheering happy as all hell.
Because they didn't like him.
No one liked him. Yeah, no one fucking liked him. I ain't gonna lie. Even me as a kid, growing up, I hated Kurt Angle.
And he was annoying as hell, yeah. Throughout that whole like time period, and just the promo on the card, it was like, what the fuck, fucking get this guy off my screen, but not in a bad way. Obviously they knew he was talented, but he's one of those irritant guys. I guess that's one that I stand for, right? Irritant.
Exactly. And again, don't get me wrong. Of course, now Kurt Angle is one of the all-time great. He's a cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
He's a goat. Whatever you want to call him. But back then, like, bruh, I remember even like my friends in school, we'd talk about this, like, bruh, we can't stand this guy, yo. We want this guy gone, yo.
That's crazy. It only took a year for him to just change, though, like the perspective of him.
Exactly. Would have known, right? Like, Big Mike, any childhood memories do you have from Kurt Angle when you were a kid growing up?
Yeah. I don't remember much from 2000, but like from 03 and 04, in 03 when he was the GM, yeah, and working with the Greatest Tag Team, and him, and Cena, that was very vivid in my childhood. The whole like rap battle with Cena, that was funny. And all the good matches too, all the great matches. I really didn't, remember the annoying side of Kurt Angle in the 2000s, but I pretty much got the later parts.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Yippee-ki-yay. I think for me, when I look back at Kurt Angle's early career, part of my childhood, as I look back and now as an adult, I remember the love angle, him and Stephanie McMahon involving Triple H. I remember just the little funny skits. The time when he became the European champion and the Intercontinental champion at the same time. He lost the title at WrestleMania to both Jericho and He Who Shall Not Be Named. That's around the point.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I remember He Who Should Not Be Named put the gold medals in his crotch. And Kurt Angle had to literally go into the guy's crotch to grab his gold medals and shit. And then he fucking kissed the gold medals. Like, it was funny as hell.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, who will ever forget Milkomania, 2001?
Oh,
yeah.
That was the best.
What his big memories. And again, you look back at his Hall of Fame speech in 2017, he referenced all that. My bad. Was it 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. His Hall of Fame speech. He referenced all the funny stuff about it. Like, yeah, one thing about what Kurt Angle is, yes, he's a great talent, all you want, but at the same time, he knows how to be a character.
Right.
With all these
but
funny
that's
skits.
Something, quite a few people were lacking throughout that time, and the fact that he was in that Attitude Era as well. Even with the Ruthless Aggression Era, and he was the way he was, like, that definitely helped. He was talented in the ring, and he knew how to entertain people, when he wasn't wrestling.
Well, you guys even go further saying that I think that a lot of wrestlers today have that missing touch to them. Like they're lacking character.
Most wrestlers are almost the same now.
Yeah.
And they're talented all you want, but they're mostly bland.
Yeah, they were calling a lot of people back in the day that had personality vanilla midgets. It's nothing but vanilla midgets now.
Yeah, it's the same thing now, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But guys, again, chat below, give it your thoughts on what we're talking about. Maybe what's your memory of Kurt Angle? Hell, maybe even if you ask about him in TNA, it's fine as well. It is what it is. But Taz beat Kurt Angle here, and after, like, later on in the show, you see Kurt Angle, I guess, in the training room, and he's recovering. He's literally, again, he's in La La Land, right? He's days out from what happened, and he asked about, hey, if he's still undefeated. Because think about it, it's illegal to choke somebody out, but obviously, in his eye, he's still undefeated. But again, a great for Taz debut. From there, we go on to the tag team tables match. We have the Hardy Boys and the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys going at it here. In again the tables match. This was the second ever tag team tables match between the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, and the Dudley Boys. Before the match, the Dudley Boys insulted the fans, expressing the dislike for the booing of John Rocker. John Rocker, ladies and gentlemen. And everyone booed like crazy. Everyone booed like crazy. The Hardy Boys gained the advantage with a double superplex double superplex to Bubba Ray Dudley, and the use of the ladder. After using the chair, Matt placed Bubba Ray on a table outside in the ring. Matt then performed a diving leg drop as Jeff performed the diving splash, known as the event, the Omega event, on Bubba Ray through the table. So Bubba went through the table, right? And the objective of this match, you have to put both members of the team through a table. So it's not like in today's wrestling now, when one person of the team goes through the table, then the match ends. Now, in this case, both people had to go through the table. At the time as well, the Hardys were being managed by Terry Reynolds.
Right.
Which, again, was at the time when I was a kid, I had a crush on her. I really did back when I was a kid.
I still do.
Yeah, she's a little wrinkly now, but still, that old back she
Oh,
can still
obviously.
get.
Doesn't matter.
She can still
Doesn't
get.
matter.
She can wipe the dust. Woo! That's gold dust about that one, if you will. Then the Hardy Boys place Devon on the table outside the ring, and Matt timed a diving leg drop, splash, even through the table, but Devon avoided it. Jeff then attempted the suicide senton, but missed, setting himself into a table. So essentially here they're tied 1-1. Bully Ray performed a super power bomb through a table on Matt, but then the Dudley Boys then beat down the Hardys, and they just stacked tables in the entranceway under a balcony. I'm gonna say this too: the entranceway for this was fucking badass, yo. That taxi cab was chilling there on top of the entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah, with something as simple as that, WWE can't do that anymore nowadays. That's just sad.
They can't make those sets anymore.
Like
Can't be
something as
creative.
simple as that looks so cool. It's like it's refreshing to look at something like that. Now we just get garbage.
I think also too, and I'll say this: I think what I enjoyed also about MSG, the entrance area was always different. It wasn't like this giant. It wasn't this giant like.
It was a short ramp.
It was like a short little thing. It wasn't this long aisle you had to walk, whatever. It was a short one. Like these little doors that you push, whatever. I like that. I missed that. You know what I mean? Again, it's brought back nostalgia. It really, really did. And again, the
Rumble
whole
Away
setup,
had that too.
and the whole setup of, hey, they're in New York. It's the city. It's the hood. They were in the hood.
Hood.
If you
It
will.
was Times Square. That ain't no hood.
I know, but still, the whole like bricks and all that, the taxi cab that's chilling there on top of the entrance. I gotta
What do you got now? You need the Uber driver.
I gotta believe that that's literally now in some warehouse that they have. It has to be in some warehouse. That taxi cab.
That's probably at the headquarters.
It is funny though, Walter. Remember we were in Brooklyn for SummerSlam weekend. This was like what, 2 years ago almost, right? 2 years ago almost. And where we stayed at was literally next to the Barclays Center. We saw all the wrestlers from where we stayed at come in and come out of the Barclays Center, and all of them came in through Lyft or Uber and shit.
Yeah, no taxi cab, man.
No taxi cab.
It's all
no
about
taxi.
that Uber premium.
Yeah,
Or Lyft.
we saw Elias come through, and Connor was like, "Who wants to Uber with Elias?" But different times. The match ends when Jeff Hardy, literally off the balcony, he did a swanton bomb from the balcony for the Hardy Boys to win. And that was even cool too to see Jeff Hardy. Yet again, I was young too. Okay, to see a guy jump off a balcony at the Garden was so badass. Was so fucking badass. Okay, so I thought that was pretty cool, and that's how they won the match.
Bro, they all went through tables essentially.
Essentially,
Like,
yeah, but I guess
yeah.
the rule was you can't. Someone had to put you through the table. You can't.
Well,
go.
yeah, that's always been the rule, but that was pretty cool. Like the Hardys, man. The fact that Jeff, I guess in this case, God damn, what happened? Yeah, the fact that
Damn, what happened, Walter?
yeah, well, I think Jeff Hardy came through, and that's what happened. But like the fact that he's still wrestling after all these bumps he takes, like he was taking these nasty bumps, almost 20 years ago. And he's still wrestling. That's just fucking crazy, man. Like that. Even Matt was still wrestling for a time. Like it's like I got to give the Matt props, and even Bully. I'm calling Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, whatever you want to call this guy. He's also still out there. Devon's kind of relaxing, but it's crazy that they didn't mind, almost destroying their bodies just to entertain us, and that's why these tag teams will always have my respect. And the match itself was pretty good. We don't see a lot of those type of, I guess, hardcore matches nowadays. So yeah, this was definitely one of my favorites. It was only 10 minutes.
Exactly. It was a short match. It didn't go long. They didn't do that much, but they did enough in a short amount of time. Which I can appreciate. I really can appreciate that. Not to mention, too, this was one of 2 tag team matches on this card. Like, back in the day, like, in today's wrestling, there's only that one tag team match, and that's it. In 92, the whole undercard was every single match was a tag team match, almost. So,
and it was long. At least most of them were.
Yeah, they were long.
The opener was almost 20 minutes. Then the middle match was like almost 15 minutes. And then the tag match was only 10 minutes. The tag team title match.
Yeah.
And they were not as good not one of them was as good as this 10-minute tag team tables match.
Exactly. Indeed it was. Indeed it was. Mike, anything you want to add on before we move on to the next match, Big Mike?
Yeah, all I would like to add is how cool is it, the first match you get, ECW Taz, and then the second match you get the Dudleys in WWE, especially at this time. That was pretty cool.
In
New York too.
It just hit me. It just hit me on that. Holy crap. You're right. I did not think about that. It just hit me now. When you think about this too, the next match we're going to get into, they also feature someone from ECW as well.
Right.
We get to the next match. Yeah. It was a triple threat to crown the undisputed WWF Intercontinental Champion. You had Chris Jericho and China defending the Intercontinental Championship against Hardcore Holly. So, there was a triple threat match. Hardcore Holly and co-champions Chris Jericho and China. Before they fought with Holly. Okay, so basically, again, it was Jericho and China. I guess they were the co-Intercontinental Champions here. And they need to crown the undisputed one. And I gotta say this, you gotta think about this too. This is a different time period. And again, China's China all you want. But think about this. We'll never see an intergender match in WWE. It's never gonna happen. It's not. It's not gonna. Unless you want to count what happened on SmackDown like a year ago with Asuka and Ellsworth, that's fine. But where a woman would get punched by a guy, stuff like that.
That doesn't count.
No, that's not happening anymore.
But you got to think that back then, when no fucks were given, 0 fucks were given then, and here's China hanging in there with the guys. Granted, the guys didn't really do that much to China offensively, but they made it work.
They did more than whatever else they would do.
They made it work.
To any other one.
They made the match work though. You know what I mean? And the crowd was really into Jericho on this night. They were really into Jericho, as you expect as well. Again, this is a time where Jericho jumped over from WCW. And again, for what I thought this match, I enjoyed it for what it was. I really, really did. What do you guys think?
The triple threat match.
Yeah. It was cool.
The fact that they were co-champions, that was funny. But... the match was solid. It didn't go too long as well. I think that's what helped. So it's not like it was a drag. You could say this was one of the filler matches, but honestly, it's the Rumble card, so I don't judge the matches too harshly. But I thought this one went by a little bit more smoother. And yeah, Jericho, he was a favorite. We just got into the WWE pretty much, so it's like the crowd loved him from there on and then until now. So that's pretty cool to see Jericho back in the day too.
Exactly. What about you, Big Mike?
Yeah, I thought it was an alright match. China, held her own, and Hardcore Holly, he could have did a little bit more. He took a lot in this match, but
Bob Holly said, "Forget that."
Yeah, he took a lot, but and even before the match even started, we had a Dave Hebner sighting, stumbling over his words.
Yeah, he's like, we're selling this in the ring.
Right.
That's right. All right. Selling in the ring, motherfuckers. God damn it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but China was pretty solid, and then all 3 of them went on to wrestle the Rumble match, so they couldn't make this match too long anyway.
Exactly, but again, I enjoyed it for what they did. I enjoyed it. Again, everyone had their moments in this match. China attempted a pin, but Holly returned and threw her out of the ring. Holly attempted to do the chair, but China performed a drop kick into Holly's face with the chair. China performed a diving splash onto Holly, and Jericho performed a diving splash onto both of them. China countered a belly-to-back suplex, then performed a low blow to Jericho. China then performed a pedigree to Holly. Jericho performed the diving crossbody to China, who was on Holly's shoulders. China performed a superplex to Holly, hit him with a chair, and then applied the wall to Jericho. Jericho then performed the one-handed bulldog to Alliance of the China for the victory. So essentially here as well, China got pinned. Jericho pinned a girl. So you want that heat as well. So I was okay with it.
Yeah, Jericho pinned the other champion. That's what made him stronger.
Exactly.
Even if it was a girl.
Yeah. Big Mike, what do you think about that, bro? What was your take? What was your take on that?
Yeah, man, it was like I said, it was a decent match, and the whole dynamic with Jericho and China, they had such a back and forth in their times together as Intercontinental Champion. Like, it's insane. So, yeah.
Absolutely. But then again, yeah, Jericho won, and again, another ECW guy featured. Think about it. The first match was Taz. The second match was the Dudley Boys. Here was Chris Jericho. And again, it was fun for what it was. And after that, we had the Tag Team Championship match. The Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaw, defend the tag covers the Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw. Before the match, the New Age Outlaw delivers a speech to the audience. I used to miss that back in the day. I missed those back in the day. The speeches they would give, the Tag Team Champions of the World. Oh, I thought it was pretty cool. Tell me you guys didn't mark out seeing that after all these years. Like, it's funny. It's funny how people want Road Dogg to be fired, like #fire Road Dogg, but yet here this is the same guy that all those years ago, like, you guys popped for and shit.
Well, yeah, but that's different. Yeah. He was a wrestler.
Still,
I'm not gonna just because. Though. Well, no, I'm not telling the guy to fuck off. I mean, it's just like he just sucks at his job now. That's all it is.
Well, he sucks on the main roster. When he's with Triple H and NXT, he knows how to do stuff right.
Probably, yeah.
But I every time Road Dogg comes out in New Age Outlaws make their entrance and do the whole speech, it's sort of hard not to sing along with them. It's like automatic when they come out and you have to sing along with them. So.
And the match, I'm gonna say it was an okay match. It really didn't it didn't tickle my fancy, if you will. What happened here? So the Acolytes, again, they gained an early advantage after a following slam from Bradshaw to Gunn. After avoiding an attack in the corner, Bradshaw performed a clothesline from hell to Gunn. Farouk executed the spine buster on Road Dogg as Farouk attempted the pin. Gunn pulled the referee outside the ring, and Bradshaw got knocked down both Gunn and the referee after the Acolytes performed an Allied powerbomb on Road Dogg. X-Pac came down to interfere and performed a spinning heel kick on Bradshaw. Gunn pinned Bradshaw after a famous search to retain the titles. So essentially here they needed help from X-Pac, help from D-Generation X, member of DX if you will, to retain the tag titles. And again, it was one of those things where you wanted that heat, and they got it. And at the end of the day, again, the match for what it wasn't really that much of a long match. It was like a 2-minute match. This match literally went 2 minutes. This was the shortest match on the show. A tag team title match was that short. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I feel like that they tried to shove everything in 2 minutes,
Yeah.
Did it feel that way to you?
Yeah, they kind of did. And again, you wanted to stall, kill time. Because keep this in mind, because I didn't mention this, but before this, though, right? Before this, there was... We didn't even talk about this, but before the Intercontinental Championship match, there was a Miss Rumble 2000 swimsuit contest.
Oh, yeah.
No, how'd you forget about that?
I know, man. The contestants were Ivory, Terry Reynolds, Jacqueline, Barbara Bush, Luna Vachon, and the Cat. The judges consisted of comedian Andy Richter, WWE Hall of Famers Sergeant Slaughter, Tony Garria, Johnny Valiant, and Classy Freddie Blassie, and the fabulous Moolah. Again, people now hate it is what it is. The contestants showed their swimsuits. Even though Luna refused to take off her coat or her robe, whatever it was. It's funny that you gotta think about this too, right? This is the type of shit that you would not see today in WWE. Gotta think about this, right? This was back then. You can say, "Oh, it was so degrading for women, this and that."
I'll tell all those people to. I don't even want to say. Never mind. But come on, man. This was entertaining as hell.
Oh yeah, well, it was entertaining as hell. It was entertaining as hell, all right.
Because even though, the women they were pretty much almost naked. The thing at the end was hilarious too.
Oh
yeah,
God. I guess so. But again,
Mae Young is freaking.
Yeah, she was hilarious. So Mae Young comes out.
It was a classic.
So everyone showcased their bikinis, with the exception of Luna Vachon, right?
Oh, we kind of seen it anyway.
The cat though, wore like bubble wrap, had a bubble wrap bikini. It's funny too because you think about this too. Jerry Lawler was the judge. Was the host of this whole thing. All right. You remember their path? Like, at the time, I guess they were married at the time or whatever it was. So that reminds you, right?
He was biased.
He was biased as all hell. I thought Terry won the thing. In my opinion, I thought Terry won.
Oh yeah, she definitely. It was between her and Jacqueline.
Yeah, that too. And then out came Mae Young. Mae Young comes out. And she said she wants to participate in the contest. She wore a one piece, and then she exposed her breast.
Ugh. And then Mark Henry came out.
It was censored. Yeah, Mark Henry comes out. I think they were dating in storyline. They were dating, whatever. And all the judges, because again, they were all old as shit. They all gave the unanimous win to Mae Young. So Mae Young won. She won the Miss Royal Rumble 2000 swimsuit contest. Who would ever think that a one piece would win over bikinis?
Oh yeah, no, Mae Young was just because she showed more charisma than the other women. Like she was just, I don't know how to say it. Like getting the crowd on their feet.
I agree with you
the
on
way
that.
she was. Yeah.
And I agree, but you gotta think about this too. Like in today's wrestling, that's not gonna fly.
No, today's wrestling is way different. There's not gonna be no bikini contest. Now everyone just wrestles. You're not
gonna see Sasha and Bailey and Alexa and in a bikini. Twerking and shaking
we've changed. I'm not gonna say unfortunately because then that'll sound kind of disrespectful to the women now. But the era's changed. It'd be nice to have that every once in a while, but with these women, we don't look at them like that really, to just go in bikinis. And I mean, you'll see it probably on WWE.com photos or something like that. But, at the end of the day, they're just wrestlers now. And sometimes, that's cool and all. But sometimes when you watch stuff like this, you're like, damn, you wish it can get back to those days. But, it is what it is. Eras change.
Yes, man. Back to the days when it was important. Back to the days where I know what you mean.
And mind you, these weren't they weren't all known for quality, in-ring wrestlers. Like these were just, hot-looking women. But nowadays, it's a little bit different now. But change, I guess.
Absolutely. Big Mike, what about you, brother? What do you think?
Yeah, don't we all like the puppies anyway?
We all loved the puppies back then.
Too bad they can't be coming out today. But yeah, man, like what Walter said, we really don't look at these women nowadays as, eye candy and something good to look at. They can do more than that. Even though, come to find out that later in the years, the women that were in this hated doing this type of stuff anyway, but they never looked like they hated doing it because it was their job. But yeah, women evolved. No pun intended. But yeah, we're never gonna get this again. So
Yeah,
it was just a spare of the moment type of thing.
exactly. Um, so breathing along here, moving on to like the WWE Championship match, right? Triple H and Cactus Jack. So the build up toward this match was again, it was because the McMahon Helmsley faction that began in late '99, where Triple H and Stephanie McMahon Helmsley had control over WWF and scheduling unreasonable matches for the wrestlers. Foley, who objected to this, and the faction attacked several times before they finally fired him. On January 3rd, episode of Raw is where Triple H won the WWE Championship and mocked Foley with an impersonator. On January 10th, of the episode of Raw's War, The Rock brought every superstar to the ring and demanding that Foley to be reinstated or the entire roster would walk out. Foley was reinstated and requested a street fight for the WWF Championship at the Royal Rumble. Foley and Triple H fought in a 4-on-4 tag team match that night. Triple H pinned Foley, and after using the ring bell and delivering 2 pedigrees, after the match, Foley took off his mask and attacked Triple H. On January 13th, the episode of SmackDown, Foley returned to his Cactus Jack persona, a more violent, psychotic character, by taking off his Mankind attire to reveal his Cactus Jack attire. So that's when we got to this match, and I gotta say, back then, the idea of anything about it, like back then, you really didn't see that much of a death match. If you watch, I guess you watch ECW, but on a WWE platform, right? The fact that this is Cactus Jack and Mick Foley, essentially, right? And they did have a street fight match back in like '97 on Raw. It was similar to this, where Cactus Jack won. And listen, this match was a damn good street fight, and it's kind of crazy because you'll never see. And again, I don't want to come off like, oh my god, man, the shit was better back then. Today they'll never. But it's kind of true. Like, you will not see guys go out of their way like Triple H and Mick Foley did back in 2000.
Hell no. You won't see a match like that at all in WWE nowadays.
Exactly, you won't. You will absolutely not. In this match, again, there's blood. Triple H had a gash on his foot. They were fighting in the crowd. They used the weapons. There was a moment where Triple H handcuffed Mick Foley and just hit him with multiple chair shots. And it's funny because on commentary, Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross were referencing to the Rumble of the year before, where The Rock handcuffed Mick Foley and hit him with multiple chair shots and stuff like that. Gotta keep this in mind too. We saw chair shots to the head, which back then was common. Back then it was a common thing. Nowadays you won't see that happening. You won't.
Oh, no. After the concussion lawsuits going around with NFL and probably WWE as well, there's no way that's gonna happen again. But, we miss stuff like that. That street fight is one of the best street fights I've seen. And, one of the best title matches. I don't know, because you remember a lot of world title matches at the Royal Rumble events. And this is probably one of the only ones. Like, this could have main evented the Rumble event. That's how good it was. So you don't see a lot of that. It just shows that Mick Foley, whenever you wrestle his type of style, the matches turn out well. And Triple H, a lot of people give him shit for, some of like his heel runs, the I guess, how do I say it, the overexposure of the McMahon Helmsley stuff. But honestly, it was fine. The match was definitely good. A memorable one for sure.
There was a spot, and I remember this, where I want to say they were by the announce table. I don't know if you guys remember this or not. And it's one of those things where Triple H, what was I here? Here we go.
Well, they were always by the announce table.
Are you talking about the back body drop on the table?
No. It was like a pile driver or a pedigree, one or the other. Right?
Oh, the pile driver.
It was a pile driver.
And they forgot to move the monitors.
Yeah, they had to move the monitors, and the table didn't break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
table didn't break.
The table didn't fucking break. And it's funny because you hear Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler talking about how there's blood all over the monitors and shit. It's funny as hell. It was funny, but again, it made you believe, oh my god, there's fucking blood over this shit. And Triple H was bleeding like a fucking faucet. Gotta think about this too. Back in the day, Triple H would bleed like crazy every single fucking time.
Oh yeah, he was like the Ric Flair that era.
Ric Flair that era. Fuck yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And then again, The Rock came out, hit Triple H with a steel chair. They brought out a cop to let Mick Foley loose, and they went that. Then they brought the thumbtacks, and then the rest was history. Triple H hit 2 pedigrees for the 1, 2, 3 to retain his championship. And then after the match, right, you see again the EMTs coming out to check up on Triple H. They stretcher him out, and then Foley gets up and drags Triple H on the stretcher back out to the ring to attack him some more and hit him with the barbed wire baseball bat, or the 2x4 that he brought out, and got a big pop. And this was not the end of their feud. Obviously, this led to No Way Out 2000, where they had the Hell in a Cell match where Cactus Jack put his career on the line. And of course, we know what happened there. He lost, but then he eventually found a way to put himself in the WrestleMania main event of that year in that Fatal 4-Way. It was Triple H versus Mick Foley versus Big Show versus The Rock.
A McMahon in every corner.
McMahon in every corner, yeah.
Oh man, no.
But I would say this too. I think, you look back at Triple H's rivalries over the years, right? I gotta say, I have a soft spot for the Triple H Foley feud. I really, really do. I don't think that many people give that feud enough credit, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think they have a lot of good chemistry, especially going back to '97 when they did that whole segment when Cactus Jack first appeared in WWF with Dude Love and Mankind, and then Cactus Jack came into the situation. So ever since then, yeah, they had some of the best chemistry for a while. So yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely do. They did. And again, they don't make him like that anymore. They really don't. Which is sad. Which is really, really sad.
No, everything's just they just keep it the same. They play it safe. Like, it's not like they have to have hardcore matches every time, but just get the best out of your wrestlers. That's all you need. Like Mick Foley. I mean, geez, imagine him in today's era where he couldn't do any of these 3 different characters.
He will be
bland. Yeah, he'd be Bray Wyatt.
Oh my god,
probably worse. Get released.
Yeah, worse than Bray Wyatt. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had, after this, again, the main event, which was, but again, I did enjoy that match. I think that was the match of the night. Obviously, it was the match of the night. In my opinion, this was the match of the night. And then after this, we had the main event, which was the over-the-top Rumble match. Keep this in mind, too. They went twice on this show. They went back to, they kept promoting the restaurant that they opened in Times Square, WWF New York. Now, I've had the opportunity years ago to go to that place in New York City, in Times Square. And I gotta say this, I loved going to that place back when I was a kid.
What was it like?
It was like a giant, okay, imagine, okay, I'm pretty sure, have you ever gone to Disney World, dude, or Universal Studios as a kid?
Yeah.
So you know how there's a ride, right? You go on one of the rides, right? And then after that, when you get out of the ride, you're leaving the place. They have like a little store, right? Dedicated to the ride, to the exhibit, whatever. It's like that. All WWF, or at the time WWE.
Like a gift shop.
It was like a giant WWE store, and then on the lower floor is like a restaurant / bar. And I remember
So there was a bar in there. Yeah, I remembered like seeing photos. There was like a bar in there.
And I remember going with my father to New York, like back in the day, right? And every single time we'd have to go there because I just wanted to go there. Period. I was like a kid in a candy store. What? I was like what, 12 years old.
What if they still had it nowadays?
Bruh, if they had it now, bruh.
Well, you'd go every weekend.
No, I want to go every weekend because fuck, you know what I'm saying. But because it's a trip to New York, bro. Come on. But I'll say this though, just bring you back to the memory, nostalgia. Like, you know, again, it brought me back to my, like, 2000 was like my childhood too, bruh. It was my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, how about this? The people that are listening to this right now, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on Stitcher, whether it's on PodBean, on Spotify, or it's on iHeart Radio, or if not on the YouTube, you know, in the YouTube video, in the comments, you know, or for tweet. If you ever been to WWF New York, which then became the world for some reason, I don't know why, but it became the world. What was your memories of going to that store? If you ever been to that, what was your memory? They had Linda McMahon, who's actually there as well, say that there will be another match, obviously, after that. So keep that in mind, too. There was also the debut, also, I think, Jonathan Coachman as part of the company, too, at the time. Am I right on that?
He was there, yeah. And that was his start when he had hair.
He had hair, bro. He was young, like
that was young Coachman.
Like, real talk, like, he could easily pass off as Puerto Rican.
With that hair, yeah.
But he like a Boricua, like, all right, bro.
With the hair, but yeah, it was pretty cool that you know we got segments of to see, you know, what they were opening, the world which did open. It's just you know, we seen that in different pay-per-view events, and it's like, damn, you know, sucks that, you know, it didn't last that long.
Exactly, it's really sucked.
It only lasted what, 4 years, 5 years?
I think so, yeah. No, I think it was like 4 years or so. Maybe,
wow.
Yeah, maybe. Because I remember then eventually that became the Hard Rock Cafe. So
yeah, because they weren't making money off of that shit.
They really weren't. Yeah, they weren't making that much money. And I guess also the rent cost a lot of money too, just to rent the venue or whatever.
Oh, so. Yeah, you see where it was? Yeah, it's not like in any nowhere. It's not no man's town. It's literally pretty much in
the heart
of
Times.
Yeah, Lower Manhattan. Yeah, Times Square.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get the main event. It was the 30-man Royal Rumble. And I think we can be honest about this. This Rumble match felt very, very lackluster. It really did. It felt very, very depressing. Am I right on that, guys? Or am I just being delusional, crazy?
Yeah, that shit was some doodle.
Yeah, doodle.
Not a lot of star power in it, but I mean, I've seen worse Rumble matches in just most recent years. So
yeah. This match, again, it was every entry came out approximately every 90 seconds. The first two entrances were D'Lo Brown and Grandmaster Sexay, followed by Mosh, then by Christian. Then Rikishi came out. And Rikishi literally eliminated the first 4 guys we just mentioned right now. And then after this, okay, so before he throws Grandmaster Sexay out of the ring, they try to make, Grandmaster Sexay try to make a truce, like a peace offering, right? And out comes Sky Too Hottie. And you know what's going to happen here. They start doing their dance. And I ain't going to lie, as a kid, me and my friend used to imitate the dance. I ain't going to lie about that. I used to be Rikishi, and 2 of my friends were Sky Too Hottie and Grandmaster Sexay.
Oh my god.
Hey, it is what it is. We used to do the dance. My friend would do the worm. Perfect, by the way. And again, this brought back nostalgia. Watching it back, like, oh my god, this was my childhood. Like, come on, bro, this was my childhood, okay? Yeah. And then after, again, just the idea of seeing those 3 guys having that dance at the Garden, and the people just chanting Rikishi, Rikishi, and then he throws out both members of Too Cool, which is funny as hell. And then after that, he goes on to eliminate, like I said, a Christian, Mosh, Grandmaster Sexay, D'Lo Brown, Sky Too Hottie, Steve Blackman, and Viscera. So he had the most eliminations at this event. And then he got eliminated. After this, again, throughout this match as well, you had run-ins from Kai and Tai. That was Funaki and Taka Michinoku. And one of the big moments from the run-ins that Taka Michinoku was thrown over the top rope, and I think what was so much power that when he landed on the floor, he went head first. Splat! And it's funny because throughout the show, they're playing the replay of Taka fucking going head first onto the floor.
Because it was funny.
It was funny,
but it was dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That was bad.
Jerry Lawler confusing for Chinese, not Japanese.
Every time Jerry Lawler was confused.
Yeah.
Jerry would correct him every time. That was
What surprised me
hilarious.
the most, too, was Tess came out and Tess got a fucking big pop.
That was weird. I didn't know Tess was that over. I can't remember.
Well, he was. Remember, at the time he was going to marry Stephanie and the whole storyline. So
Oh, yeah.
The British Bulldog came out as well. Again, the Bulldog was like at the end, near the tail end of his career, of his run, if you will, or his prime, if you want to be honest about that. Gangrel came.
Man.
Then it was Gangrel, followed by Edge at 13. Number 14 was surprise entrant Bob Backlund. 15 was Chris Jericho. 15 was Crash Holly. Number 17 was China. Number 18 was Farouk. Number 19 was The Rope, which is funny because Farouk comes in there, right? And gets eliminated right away. Literally 18 seconds. China was 38 seconds. So, also besides Kaientai having multiple run-ins in this match, the Mean Street Posse also got involved. And they would go in there to cost the Acolytes the Rumble matches, helping out the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. After this, you had Al Snow coming in at number 20, Val Venus number 21, Prince Albert coming in at number 22, Hardcore Holly at 23, the Jordan number, The Rock coming in at the Kobe number of 24, 25 being Billy Gunn, The Big Show 26, Bradshaw at 27, Kane at 28, The Godfather at 29, and they wasted the number 30 spot on fucking X-Pac.
Oh, come on, wasted.
Hey, man, that's how I feel, bro.
X-Pac, main eventer right there.
That's how I felt.
Who's number 8?
Number 8 in this match was Viscera. Mabel.
That's also the Kobe number too.
You gotta think. I know, but you gotta think about this too. There's so many people in this match that are no longer with us. Grandmaster Sexy no longer with us.
Which is sad.
Viscera's no longer with us.
Viscera's no longer with
Big
us.
Boss
Right.
Man,
Test.
Big Boss Man, Test, British Bulldog, Crash Holly, China.
Crash Holly was sad too.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, it was a sad one too. And again, some of the names that we remember, what have you, again, didn't really have that big star power. I guess the only big star here was The Rock, if you will. Like, the big one was The Rock, who was there for 14 minutes and 47 seconds. The person here with the longest time in the ring was Test, with 26 minutes and 17 seconds, followed by the Big Boss Man, who was 22 minutes and 47 seconds. The final four was, I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was Kane, The Big Show, X-Pac, and The Rock. And there's a moment where X-Pac eliminates Kane. Eliminates Kane, and there's a brawl, right? There's like this brawl, and the referees are by the entrance area, but The Rock throws. It was The Rock or it was Kane, one or the other. They throw X-Pac out of the ring, but they don't see it. They don't see it happening, right? So then, Big Show tosses X-Pac out of like a gorilla press slam onto the floor, and it's down to Big Show and The Rock. It's down to them two, and it looked like The Rock was going to lose. Big Show had him up, going to toss him over the top rope. The Rock held on, and he eventually won the Royal Rumble. After the match, Big Show came out. Okay, by the way, X-Pac was thrown out by The Rock. Okay. But after the match, Big Show comes out to confront The Rock, and their storyline would continue. The storyline would continue, because it did. Where was I here? Where was I here? Here we go. Between The Rock and Big Show. Big Show claimed that The Rock was eliminated first when his feet hit the floor, and during the following weeks, Big Show attempted to gather evidence to prove his claim. He finally produced a video evidence to Triple H and was granted a match at No Way Out against The Rock for a WWF Championship match at WrestleMania 2000. However, it's funny because years later, in 2016, The Rock made a return, obviously, to the WWE in his hometown of Miami. He met the Big Show backstage. It said that he should have been the winner of the Royal Rumble back then. So this whole time, Big Show should have won the Rumble. And he did not.
Wow. Well, that was fucked up.
Yeah. Also,
Big Show could have finally won a Rumble.
Also, the feud between the Hardys and the Dudley Boys continue, with Edge and Christian joining the feud. While initially showing respect, the Dudleys attacked the Hardys during the match on the January 24th episode of Raw's War. On January 27th episode of SmackDown, Edge and Christian supported the Hardy Boys, and fought the Dudley Boys, who put Edge and Christian through a table. On January 31st episode of Raw's War, the Hardys put the Dudleys through tables, and later the Dudley Boys put the Hardy Boys through 3 stacked tables. On February 14th, Valentine's Day that is, episode of Raw's War, the Hardys put the Dudley Boys through tables. My bad. On Raw's War, Devon Dudley defeated Edge and Jeff Hardy to earn a shot at the WWF Tag Team Championship at No Way Out, starting their feud with the New Age Outlaws. Also, during the match, the Hardys had a confrontation with Edge and Christian. They also would have a match at No Way Out. As we already talked about, Triple H had a match at No Way Out for the Hell in a Cell match. The feud between Jericho and Chyna and Hardcore Holly ended when Holly failed to win the WWE Intercontinental Championship from Jericho and Chyna. After Chyna allied herself with Jericho, Jericho moved on to a feud with Kurt Angle. Angle won the WWF European Championship on February 10th episode of SmackDown. And on February 14th episode of Raw's War, Angle challenged Jericho to a match for the Intercontinental Championship at No Way Out. So that was that, basically. This was the Rumble 2000. Again, it brought back nostalgia from my childhood. It really, really did. And I enjoyed watching this show. I really, really did. What was your guys' overall take of the show as we wrap up?
Well, the show, like I said earlier, I thought the card itself with the undercard, definitely one of the best out of all the Rumble events that we've had. So I can't complain. You know, we had a great tables match. The opener, I thought the opener, like, that was a nice way to start the show. And I think that's what helped the rest of the card as well. The Rumble match was whatever. But it wasn't a bad match. So I can't fault them. And I think The Rock winning definitely helps. And we had a great WWF title match. So can't complain. This was a really good show.
Big Mike.
Yeah, man, this was a really good show. Just despite of the Rumble match, even though it had some funny moments in it. Really good tables match, really good opener. Kurt Angle talking about the Knicks is always funny, especially around the 2000 time. Even though they got to the finals a year prior. But yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, and it's just showing what WWE doesn't do anymore. To me.
The Knicks. God damn it, Patrick Ewing. Well, this was the Rumble 2000. We hope you all enjoyed. Again, we're doing this as we head into the 2019 Royal Rumble. Next week, we'll be recapping the Rumble of 1994. Walter, you won't be here because you'll be heading to Peru, the motherland. Hopefully, have a fun time. So next week, it'll be me and Mike. Back at it, reviewing the Rumble 94. A favorite of mine as well, for many reasons, but we'll get more into that next week. Thank you for tuning in tonight, or listening, if you will. This will be available on the podcasting platform, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, also over at iHeart Radio. This will also be available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/HeelSteven. I'm always accustomed to saying live when we're not really live right now. So I said tonight. I know it's kind of weird. But we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back Friday for the TEAMHEEL podcast live. So much to get into as well. If you have not checked out yet, it's up on the archives, also up on the podcasting platforms. Myself and Chase Oliver, we gave our thoughts on AEW pep rally that happened this past Tuesday from Jacksonville, Florida. And again, guys, go ahead and check that out as well. Also, me and Walter and Mike here last week talked about the Rumble 92. This week was 2000. We'll be back next week for 94. But that's going to be it for us, guys. You can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. And if you're on the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Walter, where can they find you at, bro?
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter at HeyI'mWalter.
Big Mike.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at BigMike199519 and on YouTube at Big Mike's Wrestling Recap Show.
And this has been Team Heel Podcast Extra. Peace out, everybody.